I do see a lot of these companies in a few years when the demand for AI is not there, that are going to end up trying to discount in such a way where they're going to see kind of a death spiral of the business. In other words, they're not making money. The money has to go into funding the utilization of their systems and even funding some of the enterprises that are buying capacity. So you're losing, $2 for every dollar that's coming in, that kind of stuff. And that's going to send you in a death spiral pretty quick. You start running out of money, hemorrhaging money. And that's typically the precursor of many of these companies going bankrupt, or just not bankrupt, by the way. They get in a weakened position and they end up having to sell, but they sell at a fraction of the value that they had when they started, making debt moves, which is what's going on right now. So this isn't just Oracle. Data center lending has been exploding. Estimate in 2025 has been about $170 billion. So Oracle's a part of that. But the other debt is being incurred by other technology companies that are making big bets in AI and mostly building out infrastructure, building out data centers. So they're buying buildings, buying lands, go through the permitting process. They're very expensive, things to do. So a lot of the players are piled up into the same trade. And I do think that I'm picking on Oracle here a little bit just because their stock went down last week. And I can talk about that as an instance or an example. But there's many other companies that are in the same space as well. And they're calling me every week, and their concern is that we're not seeing the inflection in the market that we thought we would be seeing in 2026 by now. And the reality is, I told you, 3 years ago, you're not going to see that kind of growth in the space because the enterprises are going to go, at their own pace, at the budgets that they have. There is going to be growth in utilization of AI. Make no qualms about that. And we're going to see the professional service companies doing well, at least initially, and the tech companies doing well, at least initially. And we're seeing some of the upticks in the cloud computing companies right now. And I think AI is going to be a part of that. But we're not going to see this huge explosion that everybody's calling for. If you look at what's being built out right now, they're building for a demand that I don't think is going to show up for 20 years. And so that being the case, you're going to be holding on to a data center that's going to be producing no revenue. And that's not a good place to be. That's a CapEx asset that is going to be very difficult to be liquid. So in other words, if the demand for AI and for compute, is down in 5 years and you get in trouble, you have this data center asset, no one wants to buy it, you're in trouble. And I think many of these data centers are going to end up turning into skating rinks.